Hello, all you positive heads out there. Brandon Beecham and co-host Dalien here with you.
Hello, you already said that. Sorry.
Should I close the store over here? Because
no, it's just the sunshine's just so pretty.
Okay. Should I restart this recording, or should we leave this?
Why should you? No, just keep going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You know,
guys,
people get the message.
This is very spontaneous, as you can see, and we're not even going to clean this up.
Nah.
So how are you guys all doing out there today? Hopefully having an amazing, magnificent day. I could say that I'm having an amazing day. I'm pretty excited to announce that the Positive Head podcast is teaming up with the team over at Lucidity Festivals. Some of you in our audience, probably many of you have been to Lucidity Festivals. It's one of my very favorite festivals in Santa Barbara every April, I believe it is. This will be the fifth year, something like that. Amazing guys and gals over there, and very, very excited to be partnering up with them, and also with Re-Inhabiting the Village, which is associated with Keyframe Entertainment, partnering with them as well to just bring lots more exciting content, interviews, things like that. So stay tuned for some really interesting, exciting, high vibe downloads coming your way. In collaboration with those guys. And if you're going to go to a festival at all in the next year, of course, pretty much festival season coming to an end for the most part. Although as festivals get more and more popular, it seems they stretch throughout the year more and more. But if you're going to go to one in 2016, go to Lucidity Festival.
This one comes highly recommended.
Yeah, it is. I mean, prior to even, partnership or whatever, like we've worked out now, I've been saying it for some time. It's one of my very favorite. It's relatively, small. I think 5,000 people it caps out at, something like that. It's at a Live Oak Campground in Santa Barbara, California. Absolutely beautiful grounds, amazing artists and, workshops and art, just so much good going on there. Of course, each festival has a little bit different vibe, and theirs is very high vibe, I would say. And I just absolutely, this will be this will be my third year coming up, or fourth year going to Lucidity. So just super, super excited to be working with those guys. So that's a kind of a positive, exciting rant in our world over here. Yeah.
Were you going to make a quick mention to the fact that you did interview Lucidity co-founder Jonah Haas?
Good point. Yeah. Check out, if you're not real familiar with Lucidity or, festivals in general, you may want to check out one of my early podcasts was with Jonah Haas, who is a co-founder of Lucidity Festivals. Also, Re-Inhabiting the Village, I mentioned. I more recently did a podcast interview with Jamaica Stevens from Re-Inhabiting the Village. And that is a new book that's come out with. It's all about, just looking at all kinds of exciting things that are happening out there in regards to creating eco-villages and permaculture, and it just features all these amazing people doing, amazing things for the planet. Because as you all know, if we're going to make it through this evolutionary step that we're currently in, it's like humanity is that dangerous 15-year-old with an adult body and the mind of a child still. And
we just got our driver's license.
Yeah, just got our driver's license, and it's there's a good chance we're going to go off the rails. No, the way I view it is we're not going to go off the rails. Actually, this leads into an interesting point that I'll share with you guys. My perspective on reality and how it's structured is all possibilities play out. So if we're in eternity right now, and time is an illusion, which Einstein proved. I mean, if you shoot me in outer space at light speed and bring me back a day later, I'm a day older and you've been dead for, 100 years or whatever. If you've seen that movie, what is that recent movie where they...
Interstellar.
Yeah. So they actually show that kind of concept in the movie, and it's based off of real physics. So time is an illusion. It is not real. And when you think about us being one with all things, one with what created the cosmos, this planet, God, for lack of a better word, source, it plays out all possibilities. Every single possibility that could happen has happened. So yeah, is there an Earth timeline where we destroy ourselves? Yeah, I believe there is. Is there an Earth timeline where we enter this utopian society? Yeah, I believe there is. I think all possibilities are played out. And that's a great explanation for like psychic phenomenon for me as well. What is someone who's got some legitimate psychic ability, and we all do to some degree. I know I've had some instances for sure that are pretty fascinating over the years. But then you have the people that are the Michael Jordans of the sport, right? Mm-hmm. And so I had a psychic reading in my early 20s, and the woman said, "I see you in a cold place like Chicago, working in business." And at the time, I was in Atlanta, Georgia, visiting a girlfriend, and so miles, thousands of miles from Chicago, my jaw hit the floor. I was planning to move to Chicago and work in business. She said, "But there's this whole other path for you in music in California. And, are you involved in music in any way?" I was like, "No, not really." And then, of course, and I think I've told this story before at some point in a podcast, a year later, with the help of some psilocybin mushrooms, I decided I wanted to form a band. And then I met someone from California and insisted that we bring our music out here. And here we are. So what was she tapping into? She was seeing the potential versions of reality. Based off where I was sitting at that moment in front of her, where I was resonating, it's like, oh, he could go either way. These are the two potential Brandons that he's most likely to choose to experience. It's like a video game. It's all already in there. It's already happened. Time doesn't exist. Based off the choices you make, determine which version of your movie you're going to see. And of course, you want to see the greatest and grandest version, the one that's the most fulfilling, the most rewarding. And I think that whole concept translates to reality as a whole. And there's a version of the planet that we go to hell in a handbasket. Yeah, there's a version of the planet where we enter this utopian society. It all exists. So, with the help of people like Jamaica and her team over at Re-Inhabiting the Village, and all the people that, she features in that book, those are the people, and that's the energy that's going to take us to watch the version of reality where the utopian society ultimately comes to show itself and is birthed, so to speak, yet again, right? So that's kind of my rant on what's going on with our world over here today. And let's see what we would like to do. Of course, each day with these daily podcasts are relatively new. So please, any feedback, guys, I'd love to hear from you. Of course, any questions that you have, don't be shy. Send them in. If you're listening to the podcast, you've had a question at some point. Maybe it's one that you think would stump me or challenge me. Please, I want those kinds of questions. Send them in. You can. You can go to the Positive Head podcast page on our site on positivehead.com, and you can record audio, through your computer microphone. Leave a voicemail for us, or just drop us an email. So
just ask anything. If you ask what's in quiche Florentine, your question may not get answered though.
I don't know. Yeah, that's true. I mean, quiche Florentine is a real stumper. Although I think I've had it. See, I knew we should have closed the door, because now I can hear the guy sawing next door. So guys, a little bit of construction in our world.
It happens.
It happens. So don't send in your question as quiche Florentine. We won't answer it. Because, maybe we will answer it. Send in. I guess you'll just have to wait and see. This is very mysterious. So, as one of the things that we want to feature on these daily podcasts is a positive pondering, as we do on the site, where we'll take a favorite quote of ours and then give ponder this breakdown, as we call it on the site. So just whoever's writing for that particular day, we have about 5 people that write for the site, and they'll give, here's a quote that they love, and here's their kind of breakdown interpretation of what the author meant. Well, for today's positive pondering, I have chosen one of my favorite teachers who recently passed away, who crossed over. He's probably doing amazing things in other dimensions of reality as we speak, Wayne Dyer. And the quote goes something like this. This is the positive pondering of the day. See the light in others and treat them as if that is all you see. Great quote, and it goes back to a little bit of what I was talking about on the last daily podcast we did a couple days ago. If you recall, we were talking about a book called The Little Soul in the Sun. And what is that book about? It's about these, it's a children's book, these beings that are, living in perfection, and they decide one of them decides he wants an experience of forgiveness, well, who to forgive in this perfect realm that they exist in. Another being steps forward and says, I will lower my vibration, forget who and what I am so that I can do something awful for you to forgive. And in that moment, I will have forgotten my, magnificence completely. So all I ask is that you remember me as I am here. And I think this is a great quote that kind of ties into that. See the light in others and treat them as if that is all you see. If you can approach your life in a way, and certainly easier said than done, and probably not what most people are used to doing, but if you can look for the good in whoever you're seeing, what's interesting is you actually end up seeing more of it. That good. There's a great story out there. Some of you can Google where Brad Pitt talks about this. He had an experience where, he's married to Angelina Jolie, as many of you probably know, most of you know. Here, one of the most desirable actresses on the planet, considered this sex symbol and this an amazing, the most amazing catch that you could ever have, right? Well, at some point in their marriage, she became depressed and wasn't eating properly and was just, their relationship, their marriage was going to hell in a handbasket. And he had kind of resigned to the idea that it was ending, right? And then he said he had an epiphany of sorts where he realized that if he just changed the way he viewed her, his perspective on her, and treated her as if she was healthy and happy and, things were all good and just kind of nourished her, that perhaps it would actually change things. And sure enough, he said, I just changed my complete perspective. I only focused on the good. I gave no energy to the bad things that were happening. And she literally transformed, came out of her depression. Everything turned around and it became this amazing, positive relationship again. And I think it's such a great story and great example. If you see the light in others and treat them as if that is all you see, that's what you'll get more of. It goes with the law of attraction. What you focus on, where attention, where energy goes. How does it go?
Where attention goes, energy flows.
Yes, thank you. Too many quotes rattling around in my brain. So yeah, essentially, if you're focusing on something, you're going to see more of it. So it's so fascinating when you really start to adopt the concept that you are the center of your own universe. You are the God, essentially, of your own private universe, and we all are. And everyone that shows up in your movie is nothing but a mirror, nothing but a reflection of the vibration that you've offered. And you start approaching people as that. You only focus on what you want to see more of. If you don't like something, you give it no energy. If you make up what you're made is like, try it. I challenge you guys to try it, and then write me in, let me know if I'm right or not. And you actually commit to it, and your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever it is, your kids, focus on them and start saying, okay, for today, I'm going to quit reacting to what they're being. And instead, I'm going to only focus on the parts of them that I love and want to see more of. I give no energy to anything else. I think about these. I expect these positive things. And you tell me and you report back what happens. I would love to come back and report on the show, what exactly some of my some of our listeners' experiences are, because I know whenever I've done this, and I've done this consciously, it always has an amazing effect. And you realize how much control you have on the world out there. And really, as I say all the time, there is no out there. Everyone, including the people in it, are merely props in your own private universe. And it's fascinating when you see it start to actually work for you. And now I would like to give the featured positive story of the day.
Oh, did you drop a xylophone over there? I didn't even know you had one back there.
It just fell out of my pocket.
I didn't even see it.
Oh, man.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's weird what you'll find in these pockets. So this story I found on a site that I've recently come across, sunnyskies.com, and that's skies with a Z. Cool site. All just lots and lots of inspirational stories. So exactly kind of the concept of what I wanted to do with featuring something positive each day. And the logic, once again, is, if I stopped turning on the news years ago, because what is it? It's just like all this propaganda and so much negative, like fear-based stuff to kind of keep people locked in their keep consuming and stay scared, everyone. So yeah, I want to just drop a little bit of positive news on these daily podcasts. On sunnyskies.com, I found a really cool story. The creator of 5 Hour Energy, get this, says he has more money than he needs. And here's what he's going to do about it, which, how often do you hear that from the super wealthy? It's, I guess you're hearing it more and more. I don't want to be pessimistic about it because there are more and more wealthy people that are doing more and more amazing things. I actually saw a quote the other day. When you have more than you need, build a longer table, not a higher fence.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so, yeah, that was a really good one.
Yeah, such a good one. So this guy is definitely doing some of that, and his name, I'm going to butcher it. It's, do you want to try and take a crack at pronouncing this, Dan? Okay, let's see, because I have a feeling you'll do a better job than me.
No, I was going to say the exact same thing. I was going to mangle it. Bargava?
Manoj
Bargava.
Manoj, however you really pronounce your name. If we got it wrong, sorry, but what you're doing is awesome. Keep up the good work. He's the creator of 5 Hour Energy. He wants to power the world's home with bikes. What he's done, he's built a stationary bike that can power. His intention is to power millions of homes worldwide. And these are homes, of course, that have little or zero electricity. Early nenext year in India, he's going to distribute like 10,000 of these for free, battery equipped. He says it basically will keep lights and basic appliances going for an entire day with about an hour of pedaling. So, what a great idea. You're getting the exercise we all need to be getting anyway. And in this case, you're definitely going to be forced to work out if you want to have lights, right? Mm-hmm. It's so simple. He says he can make them for like $100. Anyone, a bicycle repairman, could fix it if there's ever a problem. This guy's also pledged to give away 99% of his wealth to help solve the world's biggest problems. Awesome. What an amazing idea and guy. So I definitely want to keep tabs on how that project goes. I think that's like such a clever, cool way to help people. Mm-hmm. There's other people out there. Like I said earlier, I was making a crack about rich people not helping as much as they could, but that's not entirely true. There's a lot of celebrities.
No. Yeah, I was gonna say, dude. Like Bill Gates, one of the world's richest people. I think he is still considered the world's richest man.
Yeah,
all these years later. And he's, of course, famously pledged to give away a lot of his fortune, a big chunk, the majority, right?
Yeah.
Warren Buffett, I think, is right up there.
Yeah, there's another one. Speaking of bringing electricity to people, Akon is bringing electricity to his attempt is to bring electricity to 600 million people in rural communities across Africa. So that's a huge initiative that, of course, people can look into with that as well. It's like a solar powered initiative. And it just, what a cool legacy to, even to attempt, go down that road. What a cool, intention. So I applaud all you guys out there doing things like that. So that leads us to the question of the day. And today I received a question via the website from Brad, and it was a good question. Did you see it yet, Dan?
No, not yet.
Okay. The question was, what do you think about the Illuminati or the cabal or these power centers that are supposedly, these nefarious characters running the world? And I thought it was a great question. I don't know if it came as on the back of watching our most recent interview podcast, which was with Kimberly and Foster Gamble. Foster is raised as part of the Procter & Gamble family, who you guys know from Charmin and Pringles and Dawn and all the household items that you've used your whole life if you've grown up in the States. So that's Procter & Gamble products. And he was born into this kind of, elite family, so to speak. And instead of going the normal path, he went the path of kind of investigating things such as free energy and free energy solutions, and then which led him to the repression of those sorts of things. And, some of it's kind of shocking and scary, when you look at people who've inventing these amazing things, and next thing you know, their labs burn down and they're dead. Or who would want to suppress free energy? Maybe the people that are selling you power,
right.
And so he's just kept digging and digging. He spent decades digging on this stuff, and it led him to UFO technology related things, and, to understanding the banking system and how kind of how few corporations and people, are actually running, looks like, pulling the strings from behind the veil, but with, thankfully the internet and things like that, more and more of this stuff is getting exposed. So the Thrive documentary is something that he put out, Kimberly and Foster put out. And a few years back, it's been viewed by over like 30 million people now. You can watch it free online. Go to their website, thrivemovement.com. And I think it's on YouTube and stuff as well. But they talk a lot about this sort of stuff, the Illuminati and the people in power running the world, the corporations running the world. And what do I think about it? Well, it really plays into a little bit of what I was talking about earlier. What you give energy to, you create more of. So it's a slippery slope, actually featuring, these guys on the Positive Head podcast. It's really the first kind of heavy issue that we've touched on.
Yes.
I try and mainly focus for the most part on very, positive happenings, but it's a slippery slope to figure out, okay, you don't want to turn a blind eye to things that are happening, but at the same time, you don't want to create more of it by giving it energy. So I feel like, the great thing about Thrive is it talks about these issues and things that can be somewhat frightening, but then it goes into, well, here's solutions. Here's how we can begin to thrive. Here's how we can turn it around. Here's the positive upside of this whole thing. And I love that about it. So that's ultimately why I decided to reach out and ultimately ended up interviewing them. Yeah.
I think it was a terrific interview too. One of our very best episodes, I'm sure. But
that's a strong statement. You liked it that much?
Oh no, I really I thought it was up there because I think in part the issues that were being discussed were a little more sort of heavy. Mm-hmm. But you guys did, both you and Foster, from what I recall, address that very point. You guys were both, very conscientious, really, even to make the point, look, just because we're talking about some of these things that, might have some people sort of rolling their eyes or even becoming frightened, mm-hmm. doesn't mean that we're, all intent on focusing exclusively on that. It's extremely important that you're aware what you're focusing on.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. They such great people. Kimberly and Foster, I so enjoyed talking to them. And so, back to the question, what do you think about the Illuminati? I think there are people that have played a role in helping to, kind of structure the way this planet operates in a way. So, 40% of the wealth is funneled up to 1% of the people. And, it's the only, I've seen these memes online. It's like humans are the only species in the known universe that pay to exist, it's like, mm-hmm. it's this made up construct of money and control and things like that I think are starting to lose their grip. And it's ultimately, I think they've played a role in the evolution of our species that was necessary to give us the experience we wanted to have as beings. So for us to, my belief is, my theory is God is love and it is one. Okay, great. Now have that for eternity. It sucks. So what do you need to experience? You need to experience separation from love and know that which you are not. Pain, the sweet's never quite as sweet without the sour. So you need the negativity, the pain, all the things that have been inflicted on mankind by other men for centuries, was part of the journey that I believe we signed up for. And how you can't have the experience of overcoming, you can't have the experience of forgiving without someone to forgive. Right? So ultimately, these are divine beings that have chosen to lower their vibration so greatly that they've forgotten who and what they truly are, and they believe in separation. They don't know that they're one with all things. And as a result, they're treating these extensions of self as pawns, as expendable, as, people and things to be used, the planet as something to use and suck the resources and just eat it up and destroy it and get more and more for myself. Let me hoard millions and billions of dollars in my bank account that I'll never use or could never need, while the kid down the road, or in the country over, is starving to death. Well, really, that's a part of self that is starving. That is a reflection of self. And they just don't realize that yet. Mm-hmm. They don't know who and what they truly are. So they're just playing the role that they are meant to play.
You know what's remarkable, though? The way you just put it made me think of something that I think that a lot of us would have no problem readily sort of agreeing with, because we understand it, but it still just makes it sort of hard to practice. Like the thing you were saying before about seeing others for who they really are, as opposed to who they may be appearing to be. The whole concept of... this concept that there are powerful people, members of the elite, who have this very sort of materialistic separation consciousness point of view. The thing that's striking is that we, the majority of humanity, including, people like you and me, who may be considered more sort of like average people, we are really not that far removed from that mindset.
Speak for yourself,
either.
Dan. I'm extraordinary.
No, I was gonna include you in another group.
Okay.
What I was gonna say is all of us have the potential to be just as materialistic and fear-based, separation-based. It's just that you see much more now how, people on the street, or even your average millionaire, not billionaire necessarily, is becoming much more aware of these same concepts you're explaining, to the point where, they're choosing to give away a lot of their wealth.
Right.
Be part of the solution, as you said.
Right.
But ultimately, there's not a huge gap between ourselves and, those in power that we're, sort of hypothesizing about, really.
Yeah, exactly. They're playing a role. And, I think we're entering a new wave of growth and abundance on the planet. I think for people that were kind of nefarious and controlling and negative, quote unquote, in the past, maybe techniques that were working really, really well will stop working and backfire quicker and quicker. I think we're entering a new energetic phase on the planet where karma, so to speak, is happening quicker, because the veil between this dimension and the next is being lifted. So, whatever you're putting out is coming back to you much, much quicker. So I think you're going to see a lot of these types of people have more and more. It's already happening. I mean, there's so much evidence that the power structures are crumbling because of information, and more positive. And something that Foster Gamble talks about in our interview. There's like 1,000 organizations that have connected through the Thrive movement. Wow, 1,000 positive organizations, and they're all aligning to heal the planet and fix all the issues that we have with the environment, and all the corporations who are only concerned with how they can make more growth and more money at all costs, no matter what it means to our children or our children's children. They're having more and more trouble. So, I believe there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come, and the time has come for us to awaken to our divinity, to the oneness of all things, and to heal the planet. And those that stand in the way of that, maybe have found it easy to do in the past, are going to find their path much more increasingly difficult. So yeah, thank you for that question, Brad. That was a wonderful question. All you guys out there, please don't be shy. Write us. Drop us a voicemail through the website. Give me a question. Come on, stump me, guys. I want to hear something. And once again, of course, these are all my opinions. Take them for what they're worth. I don't pretend to have all the answers, but I will probably always have some sort of a perspective. So, well, we're getting down to the end of it time-wise. This has been a very fun and interesting conversation with you, Mr. Dalien. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me here again.
Yeah. Until next time, remember, as long as you ain't dead, you're already positive ahead. Be well, everyone.